Alright. Just because I talk slow doesn't mean I'm stupid. Have you ever been made fun of because of the way that you talk, the way that you behave, or your values or beliefs? My goal is to persuade you that our Appalachian cultural heritage is a valuable and enriching culture and should be recognized as such. Through looking at common misconceptions and stereotypes, examining Appalachian cultural beliefs and behaviors, and discussing the enrichment of our culture that our culture has added to America, I intend to help you understand and appreciate Appalachian culture. As a person of Appalachian cultural heritage myself, I have studied my culture extensively, both academically and personally. I believe our culture is a beautiful and enriching culture and that we have much to share with the world. I believe that our culture and people have been portrayed negatively for far too long. As Appalachians, we are often misunderstood and stereotyped. If we examine these stereotypes, the reasons for them, and the value of our culture, we can stop discrimination. We can stop the discrimination of the Appalachian culture and its people. First, we must examine the common stereotypes. First type of stereotype is assuming that we are intellectually inferior because of the way we speak. An example is the word ain't. In Webster's dictionary, the word ain't is described as being a contraction for am not, but it also mentions that it is considered illiterate speech. We speak differently and with a more relaxed air, and people also consider us to be prejudiced, as evidenced by a lack of racial diversity in rural areas. And the belief that we are inferior because we have no desire to keep up the Joneses and we don't care how we're perceived by others. These misconceptions are often caused by a failure to understand our culture. I would like to examine the Appalachian cultural beliefs and behaviors that could lead to these stereotypes. Language and speech is different. Our language and speech is different. We speak a dialect that's misconstrued as illiteracy, when in actuality it's researched and validated as having its basis in many ancient languages. As stated in the dialect of the Appalachian people by Dial, the persons who speak it undiluted are often called by Southern publicists the purest Anglo-Saxons in the United States. People believe that we are prejudiced because there's a lack of diversity of races, but in actuality it's not that they're not welcome here, there's just nothing to bring diverse cultures here. Our area is extremely isolated with very few jobs and little industry. People also believe that we are inferior because we have no intention to keep up with the Joneses. Our priorities are focused on things of a non-material nature, and we live independently within our means. It's more important to us than keeping up appearances. The cultural beliefs and behaviors of the Appalachian people, although sometimes misunderstood, is enriching. Appalachian culture has produced many valuable and enriching aspects of American culture. Appalachian music has evolved into many mainstream genres. Old-fashioned gospel singing has led the way for bluegrass and mainstream country music. Among other things, it's influenced blues, rock and roll, and all sorts of genres of music. And we boast that Appalachian cultural heritage is the only one to invent a musical instrument native to the United States. So the only instrument the United States has invented was the mountain dulcimer, which is what you see here. It's used in bluegrass, Appalachian, old Celtic music, and even in modern rock and pop today. Our geographical isolation also is a reason to cause us to live independently of mass society and modernity. We've developed ways to preserve foods such as vegetables, grains, and meats. We make our own supplies such as soaps, cooking grease, and furniture, and using all that nature has to offer. This creativity has led to many wonderful things. We've also produced many important icons of Americana. Such icons are people of interest, for example, Cordell Hull, Alvin C. York, Martin Luther King, Elvis Presley, Hank Williams, Al Gore, and Alex Haley, just to name a few. Other icons of enjoyment include NASCAR, which was brought about by the manufacturing of moonshine and what they call moonshine runners in the day that would deliver the moonshine at night, and they would be chased by police. And So there's NASCAR, we have Jack Daniels, and the Kentucky Derby. We've also brought about industries such as coal mining industry. It's easy to make fun of what we don't understand, but enriching to work to understand those diverse cultures. Appalachian culture is one of the oldest in America and sadly one of the most stereotyped. The culture has been misunderstood, exploited, and misunderstood and exploited for almost as long as our country has existed. Considering everything this culture has given us, it is time to give back in the form of respect and understanding. It is time that we proudly display our values and our Southern Appalachian dialect with pride. Thank you.